Hey guys, so I know this isn't necessarily traditional, but we're going to start the pod out today with a question from someone who's only going to be here for a couple minutes. So before anyone gets introduced or anything like that, I'm going to turn this pod over to Skidly Diddlyosis, who crashed the pod for a question. So go ahead. What's your question to the listeners?
I go by Watson now, but I appreciate the intro.
I gotcha.
Um,
Welcome,
I gotcha.
Watson. And I'm gonna win the league.
I just I am. I have a question. It's like an etiquette question that I'm curious to hear some feedback on. When when you're making trades or when you want to do a trade with somebody, if you reach out to the person to trade, and I'm not saying there's a right answer on this. This is genuinely like something that I'm curious about. If you reach out to a person and you say, I want X, Y, Z, whoever, like a player um, that is on their team, do you
Okay.
say, I want this person, let me know what you want, or do you come to them with an idea?
I go to someone, I say, hey, I'll give you X for X or X and X for Y.
Okay, so you come to them with like a package that you propose as compared
And
to saying,
I guess it depends. Like sometimes I'll go and be like, hey, are you willing to trade so and so? And
okay,
then
and
from
if
there
they
I'll
say
be like, okay,
yes,
I'll be like, okay, well then I'd give you this person.
okay, so I guess my question is, when boiling it down, when you are propositioning a person for a trade, do you put the onus of figuring out all of the trade pieces on them, or do you proffer up something at the start?
I think
I
that there should
typically
be
proffer up.
negotiations for sure. I think there should be an idea. I think that also depends on how long the talks have been going on. If it's an ongoing thing, I think that that's just kind of thing as the conversation goes on. Like, is it just a one-time approach or is it a multi-time approach? I don't know. It
Well, I
depends.
mean, if it's a multi-time approach, like maybe, I mean, I don't know, it kind of depends on why the talks have been going on for so long. And again, this is not me, like I'm not making like a value statement or anything. Well, actually, that's probably not true. There's a lot of undercurrents here. I'm just saying, like, I'm curious as to how the average trade deal happens. I think it probably makes things go smoother if you come to this or whoever with like, I'll give you X for Y, as compared to like saying, I want X, what do you want? I don't know, just genuinely, just like I'm curious
So
because
I'm
I haven't
guessing
really
you.
done too many trades.
Oh, okay. No, I'll go to someone and say, hey, how do you feel about so and so? And then if they're like, yeah, I'd be willing to trade back, well, I'll offer you this and this, or I'll offer you this. You got to kind of go and show that you're willing to give that person some value to, at least in my opinion, to make them feel like it's like a fair trade, like whether or not they'd be willing to make the trade. You got to go
Okay,
and show that you're willing to give some value or have like a fair trade.
okay,
I
makes sense.
I think there needs to be some point where you do, especially if you're the initiator, where you at some point, like I said earlier, I don't know if it's multiple days or a day or one conversation, but I think there needs to be a point where you do make an offer. I think that you at
Mhm.
least need to go in knowing what you're what you on your end, what you're willing to give up and what you're trying to get from them. But then I just think it depends where it goes from there. But I think there does need to be an offer made at some point by the person initiating the conversation. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm inclined to agree. And I'm just curious because I mean, this is the season that I mean, this is the first season where I've really done many trades. And by many I mean like three, and like Lord knows I've dropped half the people that Sean has traded to me. Um, but like, I
As
don't know,
well you
like
should.
Did
I'm
did we
just
trade?
genuinely yeah, like you gave me Calvin Ridley and then he laid the egg and I think I dropped him
I,
like
I
That
never
immediately.
was me.
I
We
never had
traded
Calvin
for
Ridley on my
rookie.
team.
You yeah, I'm pretty sure.
No, that was us, Loesch. I got
Oh, was
Njigba
it
for
you? Sorry, I
Ridley.
get you two
Yeah.
confused sometimes.
We look
Um,
alike.
Interesting.
We
Okay.
look
I
alike.
Yeah.
mean, yeah, like I
We're
mean, you
basically
both have won the
identical.
league a couple times, right?
No,
I'll
nope,
give it to
just
you.
once for me. Yeah, just
Yeah,
once for
I've
but
me.
I mean,
I haven't
like
won it since the start, so I can't really say I have.
that's. I'm just saying. I'm just curious as to like. as to how maybe people who trade more or trade more often go about a thing. Just like a genuine question. So
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
that all you have
that's
time
yeah.
for? Are you done after that question?
yeah, I got the only other thing that I have to say is
And I'm gonna win the league.
Okay. All right. Well, that was interesting question. I think that
Yes. Now we
he
can
hit me
start
up he hit
recording.
me up over text saying he wanted a couple minutes on the pod. So um I told him okay. So he hopped on. Interesting question. Um yeah, well, we've gone way too long without introducing our very, very important guest. And before we introduce him, I want to do it by, what's fair. I think is an intro song for the man who had to wait for his introduction. So let me pull this up for everybody for the league, and we can get this going.
He's ready. There's the snap. There's the spot. Kick away. It is up, and it is good. Jake Bates sends it through. With 15 seconds to go, the Lions have taken the lead. It is Detroit 31 and the Vikings 29.
I can't hear you over
Jake
this
Bates
video.
comes up huge in a big opportunity that might just have sent the Detroit Lions into first place in the NFC North.
All right. There we go. I don't know if you guys could hear the audio or just see the video, but I know the league could hear it, so that's enough for me.
Yeah, you were sharing it. So, he missed that one, right?
No, he made it. Actually, it's the kick that won the game against the Frauds. So, yeah, that was a good game. Hey. Good game, man.
Frauds took you
Good game.
to a game-winning field goal.
Hey, it's a division rivalry, and they were in their house, but listen, we also let him back in, but a win's you walk away with the win. The win's the win, baby. So,
Dude, and when your kicker fucking hits the boom at
dude,
the
he
end.
did. He hit the boom. He hit the boom.
Talk about luck. That's all. I mean, the refs had lines.
Luck retired, man. He retired a while ago. When's the last time you watched ball?
Refs had this Sunday.
Second place. All right, and Matthew Ganthier, everybody. There he is. He's joined us. Woo! Let's give him some claps.
Second place just until this Thursday.
What's
Go
going on?
enjoy it while. Oh no, I was
Oh,
just saying
y'all got-
second place until Thursday.
Y'all got the Rams, don't you?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, this
And
is
then we're gonna trade for Matthew Stafford, and then have him be
Here
our
it goes.
quarterback.
Here it goes.
So he can beat you guys again.
You know what's funny? I just saw on Vikings, or I wasn't on Vikings Twitter, but my friend Reed, who you guys met, was
I don't think I've
on
ever met him.
was on Vikings Twitter. He was saying that it was a toxic ass Vikings fan base all begging for a Matthew Stafford trade to happen. And I just thought, how fucking low, vile, and disgusting after all the years that I heard Stat Padford from the Vikings fan base. That all of a sudden they're just creaming their pants and begging for him because they want to save their season because they know what's
Yeah, I've
about
never
to
met that
happen.
guy.
They know what's about to happen.
What's about to happen?
Well, I looked at your
Oh,
schedule,
please.
and although you do have some
Let me hear from the
cakewalks that you'll
10th
win,
place team what's about to
oh,
happen.
I said, I just looked at your schedule, and although you do have a couple cakewalks that you will win, you're about to go on a downward spiral from that 5-0 start. You're about to lose to the Rams. You're gonna lose a
Yeah,
couple other ones that you shouldn't. You'll end up making
sure.
the playoffs because of your hot start, but then by the time we play each other again, you might actually
Mhm.
even win that to get in the playoffs because we might be sitting our starters. Although knowing Dan Campbell, if it comes down to us being able to keep you out, even though we've already locked up first seed, he might just keep him in just to send you guys home. So I don't know.
Is
We'll have
that
to
the
see
game
how it
where
goes.
Jared Goff gets his head twisted off?
I hope not.
Can't ever play football again.
I hope not. He's the most accurate quarterback in football right now. So I would hope not.
You should
That's
trade
all
for him.
That's okay. I have another quarterback I enjoy.
No, he doesn't. No, not true.
Anyway,
You're trying to put him on the trade block.
I was when he was pooping the bed with no receiver to help him. Yes, and the thought that he was so dang injured that they'd stop letting him run. But apparently none of those things are true now. So looks like we got a good season for Josh ahead. Top
Well, he's
5
still
finish.
not running.
He's
And
not
a poor
running as
season
much,
lines ahead.
But I don't know if even he can save me. We'll get into it as we transition into our first portion here. of fantasy football talk to spare Ted some pain. What do we think of the power rankings, everybody? I got it up here for the viewers to see. What are our thoughts after seeing them posted today? Matt, go ahead.
I think it should be number 11.
Okay. All right.
No, but they're pretty good.
I'll give that a.
They're pretty good.
I mean, I can't. They're pretty much in line with what I had.
Yeah.
I
I think
think I had Loesch one spot higher, and I had Dad lower or something like that. Yeah, I had Dad below Loesch, so I was surprised that Dad was up at 2 still.
Mine are a little. I had Dad up at 1, which is actually it was
But Dad at 1.
Go look at his team.
You say this, but look at his record.
So what are we judging when because we've had this debate since I've done rankings since last year, and when I first started doing them last year, we had this conversation like at a couple different points, and we haven't really had it this year. What are you basing your rankings on? Because I thought it was based on heading into the week, what does the team itself look like? Like, for example, I'm ranked last, and I guarantee if Chris Godwin hadn't have just blown his ankle out, and after I put up 150 points, I wouldn't be last. But that's what my team looks like heading in, even after a 150-point performance. Well, although looking at Follow Spike, yeah, he's 3-4, but look at his team heading into this week. In my opinion, I look at the team and I see Tyreek Hill with a Tua that's coming back. Malik Neighbors is now 2 games back. Jonathan Taylor is projected to play again. Joe Burrow's there. Saquon's there. I see a pretty solid team. So, but what are you basing
pretty
them off
solid
of?
and number 1 are 2 different things.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I look at your team and I see your players, and I like his lineup more. I like his lineup more healthy.
You're just a hater. It's okay.
I mean, I look at points for, and he's top 5. Okay, I'm top 5. His points against, he's just below me by 100 points. So I mean, his record maybe doesn't reflect how good his team is, but at the end of the day, he's 3-4, right? You got to give respect to the people that have, in my opinion, in my rankings, I give respect to the people that are winning their matchups.
Yep.
Which I mean I get, yeah, and what I agreed more with what you were saying about basing rankings off of points for and against. I actually agree with that more than the original, or more than the second part. Because did you know that the 3 people with the least points for also had the least points against in that order in the league? Like, that's in a different league, and we can't control what Harambe's will is, but that could be recipe for disaster, because that's only so far. I mean, we had the second half of the season to go, so who even knows? If things regress to the mean, and JB might just try to destroy me for saying that if I use it incorrectly later. But you would think that we're in a situation where teams like mine could end up looking a lot worse as things go down. I tend to just look at roster and see how the players are looking. But look, comparing rosters right now, I'm looking at Matt's and Brennan's. You tell me, Joe Burrow or Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray.
I take Joe
Thank you.
Burrow. Saquon or Derrick Henry?
Derrick
Saquon.
Henry.
I think they offset. Brian Robinson or James Conner? Well, actually, let's flip
go
this,
back
because
let's go back to the Derrick Henry. I would take Derrick Henry.
okay, I think they
might
offset.
offset.
I'd say offset.
James Conner versus Brian Robinson. I'd take Brian Robinson.
I think they offset too, just because Connor's losing touches.
I mean, they're about close. But hold on, wait. So you're saying Connor getting worse makes him closer to Brian Robinson? Brian Robinson's having a great year.
Is he? I was thinking offset. No, he is. Yeah, he's putting up good numbers. Okay, so offset. Yeah, offset. If not, then edge to Brian Robinson. Okay, Tyreek Hill with Tua coming back, or Amon-Ra. That's ooh. With Tua coming back, I'm gonna give my edge. I'm gonna give my bias to Amon-Ra. Some might think, but I'd say it's an edge. I'll try to be as little biased as possible, and I'm still giving the edge to Amon-Ra.
Here's the thing: Tyreek's Amon-Ra, I feel like, is going to be a lot more consistent. Tyreek's gonna win Brennan a week or two, but I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you do want that explosive ability.
I mean, I think you guys are looking too deep into it. Just look at his points for versus my points for.
Well,
And
that's
that's what I.
I
That's what I
mean,
do.
yeah. But I
I
was
got
just
the
saying.
highest points for in the league. It just makes sense that I would be number one.
And that's why I had you at number. And because of
No.
your record.
Well,
Yeah.
because but that's what I'm saying. When you so record when you decide your rankings, you just go to the points for and just click it so that it shows top to bottom, and then just those are your rankings every time, and then maybe an
No.
No,
adjustment, and
If you
then
look,
maybe an adjustment for record, and that's it.
no, but it
no,
certainly is a
because
factor.
the lowest
How I
points
rank.
for in the league right now is who I have as my number 3. Because there's a luck factor. So I think my biggest impact is record, and then I start looking at rosters. I don't even honestly look at points for. I didn't even realize Matt was top points for until I'm looking at this list and seeing how much I'm getting fucked. But
I thought you said you. I thought Matt just said that he looked at points for. He said you should be judging off of his points for. It makes sense. And then you said that's what you used to rank him.
yeah, I agree with them.
It's
Points
a
for.
I don't use it. It's a factor. It's a big factor because points for shows what your team does overall, like week to week.
Okay. And I mean, I guess at the end, because I mean, even without breaking down the rest of the roster, I mean, I guess at the end, I think all three things are fair in terms of like where you want to put rankings. I would just say if you're weighting them, like a weighting system, I'm weighting because I think I mean looking at points for, but if a team gets riddled with injury and heading into the next week, I think you have to take that into account. So I would say I weigh roster, then I'd say I'd probably weigh points for and points against, and then I'd weigh record like the least. But still
I
there. Like
weigh.
still there. It can be there.
I think my biggest weight is record, and then I look at rosters, and then points for does play a factor. But I don't run to points for, look at it, and like when I was deciding between who gets number 1, I think I just had Matt there right away because he's consistently scoring high points and he's winning. And I mean he's close with all the other factors that we're talking about. Record, he's tied with Wardle right now. Roster wise, we just went through the comparison with him and Dad. So what's the differentiator? It's points for in that case.
Okay. And I'm not saying I had Matt low either. Matt I think he was 3. I think I had you at 3. So it's not like you were anywhere at the middle or bottom. So but
Did
yeah,
you
I mean
put yourself at 10?
I did. Yep. I can't not put
Um,
myself at 10 when I don't even have a flex spot filled. Again, I'm looking at my roster. And that's another reason why points for is like kind of deceiving. I had 150 last week, but then you look at my team. I'm not putting my team anywhere higher than 10. So yeah,
Yeah, your team's pretty banged up.
they are. Yeah, they are banged up. I mean, I'll get into it later more in depth. I'm sure it'll be mentioned. So anything else about the rankings that just shocked you or anything? I had Ted higher, but aside from that, everything else is
I had Ted
kind of
at
around.
6, I think.
I had
What I put
Loesch,
Ted
I think not much lower, maybe like just one spot lower. I had him in the top half. Um, yeah, so nothing else. Jordan, I had you higher. I had you I think at 4. Um,
Really?
I look at your roster. Your roster's healthy again. I like what it looks like. So I don't know
Yeah,
if Cup's
I
healthy.
guess I'm also factoring in. Well, he doesn't have an injury designation, luckily. But
Okay.
I guess I also kind of factor in like my top teams in my power rankings are teams that I anticipate making the playoff as well. And so I guess there is a degree of looking at the playoff percentage, which I
Okay.
know we've been over before, saying, "Oh, those don't matter because it's all Watson projections." But I mean, teams that are at like 28%, 27% to make the playoff, it's a long shot.
Yeah, I also think, but then again, I actually disagree with that heavily, just because like of how close all the records are right now. Things could flip, and like again, because it is just based off projections, and like Yeah, I don't know. I don't buy the whole long shot thing. Not this early. Like I can see it as we get to maybe the last quarter, but I think we're about halfway. Maybe just a little bit more. So I'm still thinking there's the records are too close and there's too much time to go to say that the long shot is true. But yeah, I mean I look at uh, just looking at your roster because of how banged up you've been, but you actually have a lot of points for. I saw your points against, and I couldn't believe that you're the only one at 1,000. By the way,
the,
that
the
blew my
next
mind.
closest is I think like 9,
But
17.
yeah, I mean, you look at Jordan Love, and he missed 2 games, and he's still a top 10 quarterback. And you have three
True.
running back ones on your roster, and 2 wide receiver ones now that they're healthy. I mean, Cup is going to need a week or two, sure, to come back around, but like talent wise, you have the best kicker in the game, the second best defense, or well, it was till the bye week. The second best defense is the best defense. Your depth is solid for if players go down. Tight ends may be your only real questionable position because you're very sold on your boy Kincaid and loyal to him. But like, if anything, I would have wanted to put you at like 2 just looking at your roster, but I held myself back because I did factor in a couple other things like record a little bit and luck, like the fact that you have so many points scored against you. That did have an effect because I
I
didn't
mean,
say
yeah,
it played no
it
role,
has to.
but like you're not a bottom half team, even if your record's 2-5. Like there's no way.
Well, I mean, as of right now, Harambe's deciding that I am. I don't know what I did, but that was a serious statement in the chat when I said, "Hey, if you want to have your best week, play against me," because multiple teams have.
When you said that, I was like, there's no way that's true. And then I went and looked at the points against. I was like, wow, wow,
And
that's true.
for the first few weeks, I was, especially on this pod, I was like, "Oh, that's just fantasy." No, that shit actually fucking pisses me off.
No, it kind of makes you a loser. And with that said, Matt, why don't you go ahead and give us our loser of the week, our first one of the week here. Looking at
I
the,
thought we haven't even done winners yet.
do we normally start with winner or loser? I feel like sometimes it
I
just
think
Start with-
I think it
start with
flip
winners.
flops.
I think it flip flops. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Loser of the week. There was a couple tough losses, but I think it's got to go to JB. that
Oh,
that point
Oh yeah,
3
that's a rough one.
loss. Like if he just decides, like he just says, you know what, screw it, I'm not playing defense this week. He wins, and it sucks to see the Jets defense go ahead and put up -1 and really cost you in the end there. And then you also lost Mike Evans to a hamstring injury. That's rough. I mean, he's got solid players like Kenneth Walker and Jahmyr Gibbs are both studs. George Pickens, with Russ seems to be doing well. But I mean, that's just a I mean, Kirk Cousins putting up 10 points and Deontay Johnson effectively putting up a goose egg with one reception for 17 yards. That's just a tough loss to swallow, especially when you were right there. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to JB. That is a rough one. That would keep me up for a couple nights.
well, it doesn't help too that in the group meet he made mention of, "Oh, it's time for my kicker to to miss a kick and lose me the game," and sure enough, that
Oh,
shit
so
happened.
he spoke it into existence. Oh,
Oh, I don't know if I'm misremembering that, but I do remember him mentioning. I feel like I remember him mentioning his kicker missing a field goal or something, and sure enough, he did.
yeah, that's brutal. Not only did the Bucks get absolutely curb stomped by the Ravens, but his kicker also missed.
Oh,
So,
it's so bad, so bad.
Yeah, and he watched his two-star receiver. Not that he has him on his team, but just the Bucks star receivers both go down.
yeah, that's rough. Hopefully Evans' hamstring injury isn't too bad, but I don't know if it was anything like Nico Collins, he might be out for a couple weeks.
I
Yeah,
saw.
I saw week 12
Yeah, me too.
return.
Oh,
Yeah.
for Evans?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's rough. Okay,
yeah.
that's brutal. Yep. So JB, sorry man, loser on multiple fronts.
I do feel bad for from a fan perspective too, because that's just really rough. That's really rough. Like the Bucks were like going like just think of JB and like I know a couple other Bucks fans like what I knew it like talking to them like what their mindset was heading into the Ravens game where it's like hey we can make a statement that we're going to contend we already have the Lions under our belt we have a few wins um and then like your season's over. You know what I mean? Like they beat your ass and you lost your two best players on offense. Like your season's done. In terms
Can I
of
just
contending for a Super Bowl is what I mean.
can I
Um,
also just shout out how like good that Ravens team is? Like Derrick Henry is putting up like unreal numbers, and so is Lamar Jackson. Like that team is so for real.
no, that team's incredible. There's only one team
Yeah,
I think that's better than them in the whole league.
yeah, the
The
Vikings.
Vikings.
I agree. Good
No,
shout out.
not the
I saw
Vikings.
I saw a stat that Derrick Henry has more touchdowns by himself than the Cowboys do.
He scored in every game this season. He's a
Dude,
monster.
he is. He's going crazy. Like I was reluctant. I had a feeling beginning of the year. I was like, oh, he could be nasty on the Ravens squad, but he's another year older. I don't know. I did not expect him to be this fucking insane.
I think Sean actually you made a call like the very first I think pod where you were like saying that Derrick Henry is probably gonna be the closest that he was to prime Derrick Henry on this Ravens squad. That seems to be the case.
That's what I thought, and you know what? And I had that thought as soon as I saw him get signed with the Ravens. And you know what I did with that thought? I drafted Travis Etienne and Isaiah Pacheco.
Nice.
So I just can't translate what I think about players onto actually making it happen these past couple years. But I did think that because, dude, I mean, I just figured like he's been on Tennessee for so long that like he's like father time with at the running back position, and we always known he's been like an anomaly and a beast for what he is. And I just figured like he looked like maybe last year like Ted had him and he was good, serviceable top 10, but like maybe it's like okay, maybe here comes the cliff. But when he went on to a team to potentially win a Super Bowl, I feel like as a player, like a Derrick Henry would be like this is now you're gonna get the best version of him for at least just one more year. You're gonna get like
Yeah,
we're
at the
making a
minimum.
Super Bowl run. I'm gonna be prime Derrick Henry. I can do this for at least 1 year, you know. So
Which
Yeah.
and if it can't be the Bills, I mean, I think my rankings of who I'm rooting for the Super Bowl, Bills, obviously. Sorry, Matt, but I would love to see a Lions Super Bowl, just poverty franchise winning, like Buffalo's been forever. But I wouldn't mind seeing Derrick Henry get one.
I think he
yeah,
deserves it.
if it was anyone, if for some reason it was anyone other than the Lions, representing the NFC North and the Ravens made it, I'd be rooting for the Ravens for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would honestly like it to be a Lions Ravens Super Bowl. I know Matt can never agree with that morally, but I'm just saying in the sense from my perspective, even just trying to be unbiased, like if you're trying to be unbiased with that, who honestly wouldn't enjoy like seeing a Lions Ravens Super Bowl? Like
Oh,
that's
it'd just be smash mouth football.
it would just be
Yeah,
smash mouth football. Yeah, it
I
really
would.
would.
I wouldn't enjoy it. I'd hate it.
Well, no, you wouldn't hate it. You would just be rooting heavily for the Ravens and your boy Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. I think a Vikings Ravens Super will be more appropriate given the fact that we're both purple teams.
I
The
get
battle
that.
of the perp.
Problem is you have to actually have like a Super Bowl caliber roster to be in that conversation. So
Yeah, I know. I know.
no,
Exactly.
so like I don't even know why you're bringing them up at that point then.
Oh, because we do have a Super Bowl. You can drown me out with trumpets all you want. Doesn't make it any less true.
Hey, you know who might not have a Super Bowl caliber roster?
Who?
Who?
It's going to be my loser of the week,
Oof.
Mr. Lights Camara Action
I
Jackson.
creamed at that transition by the way.
Oh,
But this is for Kamara though.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Lamar's a stud. 47 points. Close your eyes. Imagine this. You're going into a week and someone guarantees you that your quarterback will outscore your opponent's quarterback by 42 points.
oh,
Immediately you think, "Oh dude, I'm going to fucking crush this guy." That is the exact opposite of what happened, and Wardle got stomped, despite a 5.74 point performance from C.J. Stroud, who I think only threw, double check, 86 yards, something like that.
Did
Yes,
Debo get
86
hurt
yards.
like at the beginning of the game?
So Debo got, I guess he had pneumonia, and he got sick before the game or some shit like that.
Oh shit!
But yeah, so Debo, nothing. Obviously, Diggs didn't do shit when C.J. Stroud doesn't do anything. But let's give some love to Tuck's team because the Brees, his namesake, Brees Hall, ended up coming in big for him. Aaron Jones, listen, free Aaron Jones. Let that man eat. Let him
Exactly.
run wild. Brian Thomas Jr. Again, I'll say it. He looks solid.
It was
Drake
really good.
Drake London finally starting to be serviceable. 3 weeks in a row. And I mean, if you
Is
look
he
at
double
his,
digits 3 weeks in a row?
yeah, and I mean, even if you look at his season, he's had 2 bad weeks, but I mean, wide receiver 2 numbers for the rest of the week, and 1 week of a wide receiver 1 number. He's the 4th ranked wide receiver in the league. There's no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, don't forget, a lot of our wide receivers have gotten hurt and put on IR,
Oh,
so
that's a
it's
good
not
point.
And he
not the
hasn't had a
same.
bye week.
Okay, that's fair.
So he's probably more like
So
he's probably when the
he's probably
season
low
plays
end.
out. When the season plays out, he's probably top 15,
Yeah.
bottom of
Okay,
that.
so that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
still, going down Tuck's roster, good pickup with the Bengals D. T. Higgins did well. That Bowers trade is doing good for him. Yeah, and he's got some points that he left on his bench with Josh Jacobs. And this could have been worse for young Wardle.
Yeah, no,
And
Tuck's got a good team.
Brees Hall, man, he didn't rush well, but he balled out in the receiving category. I didn't even see this.
he did.
103 yards through the air.
And don't look now, but 21-day window has been opened for Puka Nakua to return from IR.
Uh-oh.
So
Rams getting healthy again.
yep,
He's also got Jalen Waddle, with Tua again. That ought to be a
true.
good producing wide receiver.
Yeah,
He's got the best defense in the league. He's got Minnesota. Oh yeah, he's good.
Exactly. So even though this focus is about the loser of the week, and that for me goes to Bortle, I can't look at this matchup and not give Tuck some love.
Yeah, no, and completely steal someone's talking points for their winner of the week. But hey, anyway, I'll talk about my loser of the week here. We'll transition over. I'd have to
We could
say
give Tuck more love in the winner.
that's fine. I'm always
I'm sure he'll like that.
down to love on Tuck. I'd say my loser of the week has to go to and you know what? I'm gonna have to give my loser of the week to the guy who I stood up on the soapbox and said had the best team in fantasy last pod, and then was the only team in the league to put up under 100 points, and that is
Oh
the
no.
Kingslayer, Teddy Boy,
Oh no.
which it's a yep, it's bad,
He just
but
ran into a buzzsaw of a football team. It just happens.
yeah, he lost. He lost to someone who dropped 136. That 136 would have been good to beat anybody except, of course, Tuck, and then just somebody else. But you had a good week on him, even with Tank getting a point. And here's his team with quarterback with 5 points because of injury. Joe Mixon doing his thing, and Joe Mixon coming back from injury. Look at Joe Mixon's numbers. Look at his numbers. I'm sorry, I have to give Mixon a little love. Week
He's
one,
good.
he's played 4 weeks. Week 1, 2, 6, and 7. 3 out of the 4 weeks, he's 28 points or higher.
And didn't he get injured in Chicago? That Chicago game?
He did. He got hurt.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's a beast. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, very good running back. Achan's kind of calmed down from last year's hype. Uh, Jamar Chase. I mean, he had players put up points, but not enough to get to the 100 mark. And just, yeah, I hyped him up. He left points on the bench with Rashad White. I think Rashad White was questionable up until game time, though. and so I don't know what you do there, but just yeah, Marvin Harrison is not. I don't know if he's like struggling from his injury. I mean, what? But he put up 3 points. Didn't he get
I mean,
concussed?
that whole Cardinals offense is just not very good, unfortunately. Like Kyler's good from a fantasy perspective, but that Cardinals offense is booty cheeks. They're like not good at all.
Yeah, yeah. You could probably use a quarterback like Caleb Williams, honestly, at the helm, not Kyler
No, I
over
don't.
there.
No, I don't need him.
No, wait. Why are you saying their offense isn't good? He's top. He's a top 6 quarterback. I mean, he hasn't had a bye, but he's
I'm saying fantasy wise, he's good.
like the
Not
team.
fantasy wise. Yeah, the team itself not very good. Like James Conner and Kyler Murray, they put up good fantasy numbers. But look, they only put up 17 points. Like
Yeah,
collectively as a group,
yeah.
just not the high scoring offense we thought they'd be.
Yeah, it was that long run that mostly got Kyler all his points,
Yeah.
Yeah.
which he's a guy that can do that.
Well,
Those little legs.
I don't have too much.
So quick. Little gingerbread man.
He really is. I could just squish his little cheeks in this profile picture of his on here. I don't really have too much trashing for Ted, but just he put up under 100 right after I vouched for his team, and so there you go. Loser of the
Hey, I
week.
mean, it was a rough week for Ted. Jaden Daniels puts up 6 yards and gets out with a rib injury. You got George Kittle, number one tight end. He was questionable. You left Rashad White. I don't think that would have made a difference if you put him over Tracy. But yeah, I mean, yeah, tough week for him. He'll bounce back though. He's got a good squad.
Yeah, for sure. Well, speaking of people who have good squads, Matt, why don't you go ahead and name us your winner of the week?
Yeah, yeah. Since we kind of already touched on Tuck,
I love
um,
touching on Tuck.
yeah, I know you do. I'll go ahead and give some love to reluctantly give some love to our co-host. Fighting Kneecaps with a dominating 150-point performance. Hey man, if you would have told me Tank Bigsby would be the baller that he is, same with Chuba Hubbard, I would have said you're crazy. But these guys putting up big numbers for you. You got a solid wide receiver group. I mean, Godwin getting hurt, probably after the season. That kind of sucks. But you got Scary Terry, you got DK, you got Sam Laporta, who's an okay tight end, but he should be serviceable. You got Denver gave you 22. This guy Siebert, never even heard of him. He's putting up monster numbers from the kicker position. The dude's like damn near automatic, it seems. Uh, no, I mean you got some injuries, obviously. ETN being hurt, and then obviously Isaiah Pacheco being on IR is rough. But I mean, you got a top 10 quarterback in Josh Allen. You got a solid wide receiver room. Everybody came together and they just put up good points for you. So monster week for you. Good job.
Wow, after all the harassment,
Still 10th place.
I appreciate the love.
Still 10th place.
It's still 10th place. Yeah, you can't. Like I said, I can't give myself more than 10th place when I can't even fill all my roster spots for the week. So yeah, I finally got one. Finally got one where I didn't. I put the right people in and they performed. Started my studs. It was good to win the El Clasico. I guess that adds another tick to my regular season record against you.
Yep.
So yeah, it was
This
a good
is one
week.
of the more
Tank.
lopsided ones.
I kept getting more some Tank texts from you. You had a real hatred for Tank this week, specifically Tank. Like you weren't messaging me about anybody else, like DK, Broncos, nothing, DK, but Tank, you were angry.
Well, because I'm rubbing some fucking sleep boogies out of my eyes watching this London game. And it wasn't so much anger at Tank, it was more so anger at how soft the Patriots defense is.
Oh, their
That they
rush
just
defense
let
stinks.
Oh, dude. There's one guy in particular, I forget his number, but I watched him whiff on like 4 tackles, 4 plays in a row as they ran the ball again and again and again and again. And then they brought in Dearness Johnson. I was like, oh, let the USF boy get some carries. And nope, he was in there to pass protect. And then they bring Tank in and run it again and again. So yeah, that shit was pissing me off. So no disrespect. I did disrespect Tank, but Tank. I mean, I got some love for Tank. It's more so anger at the Patriots defense, but you didn't have the Patriots defense, so I had to hate on Tank.
Yeah, that's fair. And I mean, I was hurting after this one too. I can't say I was gonna refrain. Like I wanted to give myself a self suck, but I didn't do it because of the loss of Chris Godwin. I literally went to bed when the game was out of hand. The Bucks, like I saw they were driving a little bit. I'm like, okay, like Godwin's giving me a couple more points. Like they're keeping the starters in. I'm getting some extra points and stuff. Um, and then I woke. I went to bed because there was only like 2 minutes left. So I closed my phone up, went to bed, woke up, and I just see Chris Godwin out. I'm like, oh, that must have happened, and he must have done. And then I look at I look up Chris Godwin, and it's like NFL won't show the replay. Too gruesome. I'm like, fuck. Are you dead serious? Like I finally have a 150-point week, and I had said on the pod a couple times, I'm like, I'm putting up these low 100 numbers, but like I'm putting in wrong guys. Like I'm close. Like I can hang that 140, and then I finally did, and it just my best player. Not only my best player, but like he was a keeper. Not a keeper I expected to be playing as good as he was. I mean, I thought he might be top 10, but top 2, like hanging top 2 for like halfway through the season almost, if not just a little over. Like he was killing it, and now he's gone. But like I said, my receiver core is like pretty solid all around, like Matt was saying. So I'm not too concerned about it. I'm more concerned about the fact that they love ETN in Jacksonville for no reason. And Jonathan Brooks is coming back for Chuba. But I have both those guys. But it doesn't really help because Chuba's playing so well that even if Jonathan Brooks comes back to form tail end of the season and he's getting decent reps, like he's not going to transition to RB1 at all this season, I don't think, because Chuba Hubbard's playing so well. So
Yeah, if anything, it just becomes
a timeshare.
a timeshare. Yeah.
Like Jacksonville will only let it be a timeshare if they're both healthy, and that one I think is gonna be a timeshare in Carolina. So my running backs are what worry me. Otherwise, I feel confident in the rest of my team. So
I mean, I guess you kind of just have to hope that Brooks ends up not being that great, and the cream rises, and Chuba ends up taking over lion's share of the carries.
yeah, we'll have to see. But yeah, it was a good week until the Chris Godwin thing happened. Um,
Yeah.
but that's last week. You got to adjust and move into this week. And speaking of moving to the next week, let's talk about what we see going forward.
Wait,
Wait, so only Matt gets to name his of the week?
Oh, did I go
Yeah,
after
no.
Matt? I thought you went.
You didn't go. No, neither of you guys went.
Neither of us went. Who did you pick if you went?
Oh wow, I got too caught up on my team, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why I was mad because my winner of the week was Tuck.
Oh, we went over it. Well,
Okay.
why don't you dive into it a little more?
All right,
'Cause I'm sure Tuck
I'll
loves
give
to
Tuck
suck.
some more love. Okay. I don't know how I skipped out on you though. All right, let's give Tuck a little more love. Here we go. Tuck love train, baby. So Tuck's quarterback needs some work. But Tuck had a big win over a trending down, I would say trending down fraud. A little bit of a fraud. He thinks everyone is against him, and I'm here to tell him we are against you, buddy. So you're trending downwards. You barely cracked a hundo. And we are now seeing Tuck on the rise. I tried to talk to Tuck. He's being very humble, and he is. And I want to show love to Tuck because of how humble he's being. I tried to ask him, and listen to this. And this is, I'm going to expose a little dirt here too, not on Tuck, but on me. But I think it's worth it to show Tuck's humbleness. He says, where is it? So I had a conversation with Jordan where I had said, is having a guy named Tanks Bigsby and Bub Means on the same fantasy team vibes? Remember that combo?
I do.
So, because there's a guy on the Saints called, his name is Bub Means. So if you have Tank Bigsby and bub means, I feel like that's pretty vibes. And I went to ask Tuck if he thought that was vibes because we had come to the conclusion that maybe Tuck had stolen all Wardle's vibes on the vibe
Yeah.
meter. And so he says, he just responds, he goes, "What?" He says, "Are you trying to make me laugh to get me to trade you someone?" And I said, "I'm asking you a question."
Dude, his guard is always up.
It
He
is
can't
up. I said,
fucking get one past Tuck.
I said, "I'm asking you a question." I said, "You clearly stole Wordle's vibes, so I'm asking if that's a vibes move." And he said, "You're trying to soften me up for a trade." And he said,
Which you probably were,
he
knowing
said,
you.
"No, we had even having the I sent him a screenshot of you and I's conversation. I was like, no, I was literally just coming
Don't
over to ask you about vibes." And anyway, he talks about how I only ever try to trade with him. We never have conversations. I never ask him how I'm doing. He says, "You never ask me how I'm doing." Hold on. He said, "Never asking me how I'm doing or how I microwave rice. Nothing." And
Have you
so
ever asked him? To
I've
be
never
fair, have you ever
I've
asked him?
never asked him. So that one's fair. He's got me on that. Um, but then he said, "My vibe meter is non-existent, it seems." I said, "You're on a 3-game win streak." And he said, "It shall not be spoken of." And he said, "My win shall not be spoken of." And then I said, and I was like, okay, that's kind of humble. And then this week, we were neck and neck for highest score of the week. And I said, "It's cute you're trying to be the highest scorer this week." And he goes, "I'm just happy with a win." So
Hey, I would be too.
Tuck definitely stole Wardle's vibes because he's all good vibes right now, man. And Brees Hall's playing well. Aaron Jones is playing well to many people's surprise because he's a washed old bum on a bad team. Drake London, Brian
I
Thomas.
I completely disagree with that statement, but continue.
I think your bias is showing, Sean.
Maybe that's not
Got a
all they're
curve.
showing right now, but Drake Drake London and Brian Thomas Jr. playing great. Brock Bowers, one of 2 competent tight ends in football right now for fantasy. T. Higgins, good trade, panning out as for a flex. And Bengals defense, he looks like he's streaming defenses, which is not a bad strat. So, yeah, and he has the Vikings on the bench. So I didn't even see that, which is the number 2. You mentioned that, Matt. So, um, yeah, a lot of love for EC Breezy Cover Girl, and he's just got a good namesake team too, and he's kept it. It's like a consistent, like it's there. He's got the player. He's kept it for a while. He's had it for 2 years. Like that's
True.
yeah, like it's just all good vibes for EC Breezy. So I wanted to give him love.
That's fair. That's good love. That's good love.
All right, now let me give
Yeah,
you
so
good love and not skip you over and let you do your
yeah,
your
thank
winner
you.
of the week.
Well, you might have been better off to skip me
Why is that?
because the man I'm giving winner of the week to is someone that, let's just say, he's got a lot of hate in this league, and for good reason too, because we don't know if it's a man or if it's a machine, and that machine is Watson, Curse of Ra. He keeps picking up these dubs. His team, when you look at it, I mean, Kareem Hunt with a shite performance from Patrick Mahomes week in and week out. He's getting a lot of work, and he's doing good things with that work. Obviously Jefferson's a beast. I don't know. Najee might be coming up. It's just I hate his team. I do. Like, I don't look at his team and think that, aside from maybe Jefferson, there's not really anyone on that team I would say, yes, I want that person on my squad. But it's hard to argue when he's 5-2 and keeps picking up these dubs. He's obviously got some sort of luck with him right now. Maybe it's just the luck of the RNG, but who knows? There's something going on with Curse of Ra, and I don't really like it, but he is my winner of the week.
Did he explain the backstory to that name?
I
No, he
didn't
just
get it.
randomly. Yeah,
Because
so I had
I
to
have
look.
Amon Ra, so I don't know
Correct.
what
Yeah, I
he's
thought it
trying to
was
do.
cringy. He has the Raw in there when Matt's got Amon Ra.
I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it's just like the actual Curse of Ra, where you're like coughing up sand, don't know what to do.
Right, but like you get like
I
I get
understand
that
what you're
there's nothing
saying,
to do
yes.
with it, but like you get how that's like
Yes.
stupid.
Yes, if you had Amon Ra, it'd be a lot better name.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. He'll probably have a different name next week. You know how Watson operates.
Yeah. And I think your love is fair. I mean, like, listen, you have to give him credit for the players he's added, and I also kind of want to give him credit for not dipping on Najee in the first couple weeks, and hanging on to him, because I mean he put up no better than, I mean he had 12, and you can't say that's bad as maybe a flex, and maybe he looked at him like, I don't know if you're taking the starting running back who's giving you at minimum 9 consistently seeming so 10 every week up to that point week 5 there, but I don't know. I don't know if I would maybe try to put, like, if Roach tried to put him in a trade or something, but like he hung on to him, and I don't know. Wardle said that Najee is one of the most boring runners to watch. I don't watch a ton of him, but I always thought he was trash. So maybe these 2 weeks were an anomaly.
He's very boring to watch.
Um,
He's slow. He doesn't run people over, but somehow he's been performing well these past couple weeks.
yeah. So I mean, I think it's probably more of an anomaly. Javonte Williams, I think his week was. I think he'll be up and down too with the Broncos. Um, yeah. So I see he's got D Hop now, and that was another ad. So listen, D Hop. I mean, actually, I want to bring this up because Wardle texted me this today. And I don't want you to get too jealous, Jordan, that I just said Wardle texted me. I know that probably just like lit a fire in you, but he did text me, and he said that, and I want to quote him. So let me get here. Uh, I feel like Loesch might be a bigger Chiefs fan than I am.
Wow.
I think that's a fair statement. He goes on to say he knew D Hop was going to the Chiefs and picked him up and got Cahunt. So, but like, look at Loesch's team and think about if, let's just live in a world for a second where Pat Mahomes picks up and becomes at least, like, let's say Baker slows down because he loses his top 2 options, which is a feasible thing to assume, and then Pat Mahomes picks up. Let's just assume. Let's live in that world for a second. There could be a world where Loesch in a couple weeks has Pat Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, DeAndre Hopkins, and Travis Kelce all starting on his squad. I think that raises the question: is he a Chiefs fan?
And it's even more interesting because he's a self-proclaimed Niners fan, right?
Right,
And
because of a
the
blanket.
Chiefs just shat on the Niners. Not really, but the Chiefs beat the Niners in the Super Bowl. So did he pull an old KD and switch alliances?
Well, you
You can't
mentioned
beat
that,
them,
right?
join them.
You mentioned that, right? Wardle is supposed to be a Chiefs fan, but Wardle here's got quite a few Niners players of his own. So is there like a little
Oh,
switcheroo here?
wait a second.
Hold on. What?
I see a little Juwan Jennings, CMC,
Hold
Mason,
on.
and Debo.
Yo, wait a second.
Hold
Um,
on. Are they?
are they banging?
What
Maybe a
was
little
just
mixing
discovered
going
here?
on.
Dude, they might be banging.
Oh yeah.
This is actually nuts. I didn't even think about that, Matt. Look at all these Niners. He's got all over his team. Interesting. And not to mention, because I was going to make a point for Loesch that when he was talking about NBA stars, I mentioned he should list Tatum, and unprovoked he goes, "Oh, I forgot KD." So I thought that backed up your point a little bit about him being a KD. I think, but now that Wardle's in the picture here, is this like wife swap, but for football teams?
It might be. There might be need to be an investigation into
But
this.
like in this version of wife swap, they're both dressed as housewives, and there's banging, but they're also rooting for each other's football teams, right? Like in this.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what they're dressed in, but there's definitely banging.
Okay, so there's banging and there's switched football teams. Yeah, interesting. There, I know we won't be
Wow.
able to uncover it all tonight, but I'd go as far as to say there's something deeper here.
Yeah, I think there is. I think Ted, it fucking put the axe to that expose that you're working on. There's something here. There's something deeper here that you need to look into.
Yeah.
Ortle
Wow.
is a Chiefs fan. Out of the blue, now he's a Niners fan. There's something to look into there. Loesch just randomly is a Niners fan. Now all of a sudden he's got nothing but Chiefs players on his roster. Makes you wonder.
There's some suspicious activity going on in this league. Commissioner,
Hmm.
you need to put some clamps on this.
I think it's easiest to unleash Ted on this situation and see what he comes up with, like Jordan suggested.
Yeah,
Ted'll get to the bottom of it.
Ted's a super sleuth. He'll be on it.
Okay. Well, we'll get back to that. But let's look ahead. Now we can look ahead to next week. Let's take a look at our matchup of the week. What we're looking forward to the most, Matt. What do you got?
Let's see. The next week, week 8, halfway point, essentially. We got some pretty good matchups here. Yeah, we got some decent matchups. I think the one I'll be keeping an eye out on, and it's purely because he's in my league, he's in my division, and I want to surpass him. Would be Dark Chungus Rises versus Curse of Raw here.
Okay.
I'm good to see if my boy JB can now he's got CeeDee Lamb back from his bye week, and go ahead and maybe sneak one past Loesch and get himself back into the playoff spot, get himself back into that right direction. Because right now he's 2-5, and like we were talking about before, not out of it, not out of the conversation by any means, but you got to start looking at your record and looking at how many games you got left, and you got to start doing something to string some of these wins together, because he's starting to run out of time. So that's a matchup I'm excited to see.
Yeah, I mean that's got implications for you. I understand why. Um, maybe Chungus can knock Raw down a couple pegs. You wonder if Baker is going to be able to perform like he has been without his people.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because I mean, I couldn't even tell you who the wide receiver 3 is on the Bucks.
No,
So
couldn't either. He probably got picked up on waivers today.
He did.
Uh,
Va added it. Well, we'll get there. Yeah, so yeah, I agree with that point. The implications are huge. Like I'd say like at this point in the season, I'd say panic meter for anybody who's got a record under 500 should be about yellow. If it's green, yellow, red. I don't think we're talking red yet. We're not there. We've got I think about 6 games left. 6 or 7 games left in the regular season. But I think like this the next couple weeks, right? Like, and by couple I mean like this week and next week. I think are these transition weeks where you start to see, because like to your point, Matt, this is a 2-5 team versus a 5-2 team. If Cole gets to 6 wins, like we usually see around 7 gets you there. Is Cole really going to only win one more the rest of the way? And vice versa with JB. When you're at 6 losses, like the best you can do is 7-6. So is seven
yeah,
and
are you
six
going
like
to win
are you
out?
going to win out? So I
Yeah,
think the next couple weeks do matter a lot to see how things shake up. I just yeah. So we'll have to see, but I think it's a good observation, and I think it's a good matchup too.
yeah, I agree. To your point about you were saying what not no team is red yet. It's
I'd say panic meter for a team under 500 should be
yeah
yellow. Yeah,
under 500. Yes, 2-5. Like myself, like JB, like I think Bob, a couple other
I think it's
people.
just you guys.
Um, yeah, so those three, I'd say it's orange.
Yeah, I think
It's
orange is
teetering
fair.
towards red.
Yeah, but no, I mean like I think it's just you and JB, because Va
Oh, it
won.
is. Oh, he did. Okay,
Because I looked
sorry,
at my
Bob.
standings and I'm the lowest 3-4 team, and then after that it's you guys.
Yep. Okay, so I'm mistaken, boss. Boss teams out here like that. 3 wins. Okay. That actually that makes me sad. I'm worse than Va. Wow.
I think that deserves
Um.
a. I think that deserves a little bit of a.
Yes. But looking at my matchup of the week, I'm just gonna slide in there and take over. A battle of the 3 and 4s with Dad versus Biting Kneecaps. Let's see whose panic meter tilts further towards the red. How do you feel about Tua coming back with Tyreek? You seem to speak highly of it when thinking about his team. How do you feel about it when it's up against you in the first week back?
Yeah, I'm pissed. I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy I ranked him number 1. I'm
True.
pissed because I think he has all the opportunity to drop 160 or 70 on me. Um, on a week that's critical for me to go 4 and 4. Uh, I mean both of us. I'm just thinking from my own perspective, but like it's critical, and I can't even field a complete team right now. So, I mean, I could like I can, yeah. Can I throw ETN in my flex? Yeah, but why the fuck am I gonna do that? So,
Yeah.
uh, I can't even field a complete team yet, and I'm playing against a guy who's got, and also just like, and not that this means anything, and I don't think it does. And actually, I can't even say that. I was gonna say after a couple bad weeks, you would expect that elite players will bounce back from bad fantasy weeks, and Saquon did just that, but it was 2 weeks ago. He had 8, and then he responded last week with 28. I thought he had 2 rough weeks back to back, but I forgot he played the Giants and went nuts. So, um, but he's consistent. So, yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, Malik Neighbors is not just 1 but 2 games back. Tyreek's got Tua again. Brian Robinson, as you pointed out, is having a great year. Joe Burrow's doing fine. Saquon's elite. Jonathan Taylor could be healthy. I mean, there was a point where someone played dad and Saquon had a bye week. Tyreek didn't have Tua. Malik Neighbors was hurt, and Jonathan Taylor was out. Like, that happened at one point, like 2 weeks ago. Like,
Yeah.
that's not the same team at all.
No, it's not.
So, I mean, I'm playing a gauntlet, and I'm a little scared about it because Tank Bigsby, especially, that's my point. If ETN's playing, Tank Bigsby and ETN splitting carries is not keeping up with Saquon. And Chuba against Denver is not keeping up with either of them either. And then the receivers could go nuts. Like, it's going to be, and I don't even have a flex. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
Watson's
consider
got
me
him
worried.
projected. Yeah, Watson's got him projected to put up 136 to your 97. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that
And part
win
of that's because
probability is not looking good.
Tank's getting projected lower than ETN right now, and I don't have a flex. So I'd crack 100 when I fix that, but still no reason. No, there's really no silver lining there. It's just it looks like it's going to be a rough week. So
You got Cedric Tillman. Who is this guy?
he's
Oh.
a Browns wide receiver that had a lot of targets last week and almost caught like 2 touchdowns, and who knows with Jameis.
Oh, it's Jameis Winston. That's the backup quarterback now.
Yeah,
Okay,
Jameis Winston,
be
and
better
now
for.
Ken Dorsey's calling plays there. It's not the head coach Stefanski anymore. So
Yeah, he was not good in Minnesota. I don't know how he got a head coaching job. Not gonna lie. He was very conservative. He was
yeah, so
not good.
hopefully Dorsey will start slinging it, and it looks like Tillman's got the most rapport. So who knows? And Chubb's back, so maybe they have a little bit better of a running game too to alleviate the pass. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just spitballing at this point to get through this week. Well, DK's out, um, and JMO's suspended.
Yeah, because the team's a bunch of cheaters.
It just listen.
Dirty, no good
I'm
team.
not gonna speak on it.
Y'all were cheaters.
I'm not. JMO. First of all, if you want to say that we won because our players are all roided up or something, J-Mo's the only one who's getting a suspension, and he had 0.1 fantasy points last week. He had one catch for like -1 yards. So
I heard
he
it's
was
because he
irrelevant.
likes. I heard it's because he likes running up and down the field rock hard. Did he pop for like a vasodilator?
I'm pretty sure Dan Campbell makes the whole team get rock hard before the games.
Oh, really?
I think that's how
No, but
how that plays
what
so well.
what was it that he popped for? I thought it was like a vasodilator, like a Cialis or a Viagra.
Oh, I'm not even 100% sure what it was he's getting suspended for. I heard it was something basic. It was not something that he should be getting suspended for. I didn't know the name of what it was. My initial thought was it was pot or something, and then I heard it was something
I think it was like Tylenol or some kind of painkiller.
he shouldn't
No,
have
it
been getting
wasn't.
suspended for was then the next word that I heard on it. So I don't know. I'm waiting to see when they, because apparently there's not a official suspension handed to him yet. It's like we're expecting him to not play. So I'm just waiting until something gets handed down and I can see exactly what they're getting him for.
So let's say it's something innocuous, something not that bad that he probably shouldn't get suspended for. He gets 2 games, but Rashee Rice has that whole incident in the off season and he's fine to play.
Yeah.
How does that
So
work?
so then what's going on?
telling me-
Exactly. When
You're
you
telling me
compare the different cases.
you're telling me the Queefs don't have preferential treatment?
No, they do, 100%.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know
And
what
it's
happened? I
Detroit
bet you
versus
Taylor
everyone.
Swift is funding the league.
She
That's
might.
what it is. Roger Goodell's getting paid under the table by Taylor Swift here.
Can I ask you all
Fine.
the question that I think was asked last year, but I want to circle back to it now that we're a year later? And I don't know if Matt, I don't know if you were asked this. I don't know if it was your pod or if maybe it didn't even get asked at all. But do you get mad when you see Taylor Swift on the screen? Do you physically or emotionally get upset when you see Taylor Swift on the screen during watching a Chiefs game that gets aired on TV, or
I
even
don't
just
think it's
highlights on
Taylor
ESPN?
Swift. I don't think it's Taylor Swift that gets me angry. It's the fact that they show her after the Chiefs, typically after the Chiefs do something good, and I'm more angry that the Chiefs just did something good.
Okay.
Yeah, I hate the Chiefs. But no, I don't blame Taylor Swift. It's not Taylor Swift's fault that the camera keeps panning to her face every time Travis Kelce does something. But I mean, yeah, it does seem like at some points the NFL is trying to like almost grab like younger fans by showing Taylor Swift's face all the time. Like, oh look, Taylor Swift's into football, so we should be too. That kind of annoys me.
Yeah, I just because I know a couple people. I mean, and I'll name drop one Eric, people that you guys have met. Well, Jordan will claim he hasn't. Eric,
I've never met that.
Deanna's brother Sal.
I've never met Sal.
Yeah, so they'll send texts, and there's a couple more than that, but they'll send texts that they're actually clearly emotionally upset that the NFL is showing Taylor Swift. They're angry, and I can't comprehend someone having that emotion over seeing Taylor Swift on a TV screen. I just don't get it.
Are we talking about Sal from Impractical Jokers?
If that was
Yes.
my brother-in-law, dude, oh, I'd be on Impractical Jokers.
You might, honestly.
No, I mean, I get it. Like the league used to be like is this the league's very far removed from like the times of like Ray Lewis and like just knocking people's teeth out and stuff like
Oh,
that. And
the Brian
now
Dawkins
seeing
days.
now seeing like Taylor Swift on the screen and like all these safety regulations. Maybe some people are just like frustrated about how like different footballs become and kind of like almost like a shift in target audiences in some ways.
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to appeal to a larger, or at least grab
Yeah.
a different demographic, like you were speaking about earlier. Honestly, when I see her though, is it annoying? Yes. Do I get angry? No. I mean, I just shake it off. Shake it off.
Oh, you got. There we go. There we go.
No, but it is excessive, but at the same time, I don't fucking care.
Yeah. I can't really fathom having an emotion over that.
I
It's
will
just
say
this is what it is.
I've never met him before, but I'm absolutely shocked that Eric has a problem with it.
I'm surprised that you're shocked about someone that you wouldn't know anything about them because you haven't met them.
Yeah, that's
Not to say
that's true.
too far off topic, but does it like piss anybody else off that the Chiefs are undefeated despite Mahomes throwing more picks than touchdowns?
I didn't know that was true for him.
Yes. Oh yeah, I think
That's
he's got
crazy.
6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, or something like that.
Well, they've been handed some wins. You can't say that Kyle Pitts touchdown situation wasn't them getting handed a win. You can't say at least for that. I don't know about
Well,
the other ones,
I
but
also
that's
don't get how he's still. Maybe they just look at it as like, oh, rest of the season he's still Patrick Mahomes, but he's still top 3. I think he's number 2 in MVP odds.
no way. You're lying.
No, he's
Last
number
time,
1 right now.
that's insane.
Where can I see
Number 1
that? Where can I show
should definitely
the
be.
viewers if I look it
I'm
up?
sure if you just look Vegas odds MVP,
Yeah,
NFL MVP.
Vegas has him up there. I think Lamar Jackson's like next.
Okay, so Vegas Insider odds for MVP 2024-2025. Right now it's Lamar at number 1 and Pat at number 2. That's crazy. What?
Okay,
Yeah.
just
What?
switch it around.
And Jared Goff's only at 4? Huh?
Where's Sam Darnold at? He's got to be up there.
Sam Darnold's at 5, 6, 7.
All
Okay, and is this a fair statement to make? As both of you have quarterbacks. Actually, Sam Darnold doesn't run, does he? Unless he needs to. He's not a. He's a pocket
Yeah,
guy.
Scrambles if he needs to. He's not a run quarterback.
Okay, so Jordan, you have a quarterback that can run, like that runs like a Big Ben. Is it? Do you think it's fair looking at these guys on this list, like a Jared Goff, unless he like broke a bunch of records, because he doesn't have that electric to him, that running ability to him, he's never going to win MVP. And I get it, Tom Brady. I'm talking
No,
about now. Like
that's
maybe
not
not Tom Brady in
necessarily
the
true.
past, but like I'm talking about like now, this year, this season, how the NFL is right now.
I don't think so. Look at I mean, 2 years ago, Aaron won. What was it? Back-to-back MVPs. He's not really a runner. You look at Pat Mahomes. He's won MVP. He's a improvise. Like he runs around in the backfield to break the pocket, whatever. But he's not really breaking off runs down the field like a Lamar or like a Josh might do sometimes.
Would you
So
say though
no,
that would you say there's a
wouldn't say it's
difference
impossible.
between Goff though, like mobility? Let's just talk about mobility. Even if Aaron's not a Lamar, Aaron in the pocket and running wise is still there's still like if you were to put him on a scale, multiple spots above Goff in terms of mobility and running. Right? I
Throw on
mean,
the run and stuff.
Are
I mean,
you
but
are
I don't
you
know.
Goff doesn't really have to do that.
No,
He's
he
got a
yeah?
doesn't.
Are
good
you trying
line.
to ask why Goff isn't higher?
Well, first, I mean he's at 4. I think he should be at 2. In my opinion, I'd put him
He,
at 2.
I don't. But I don't. I think MVP. Right. While Goff is having a great season, the Lions as a whole are just a good unit. So not. It doesn't have to fall on Goff because you guys can win with the run game. You guys got 2 phenomenal running backs. You guys got a great old line. Like the Lions don't need Goff to do a whole lot as opposed to other teams where they kind of rely on their quarterback for everything. So I think Goff's fine where he is because he's not. While he's a great quarterback and playing good football, I don't. I think you could slot another quarterback into that system and they'll have similar success. I
That's
think you just guys have a great system. Same reason why like Brock Purdy didn't ever really be considered as an MVP candidate because the Niners have a good system.
yeah. I could see maybe that why that would stop him from being at the top. I still think he should be above. I think many people should be above Mahomes, but yeah,
No, yeah,
I agree. I agree with that. But I think he should at least be it with who else I'm looking at in front of me. I think because the round it's like Lamar, Pat, Josh, Jared, Stroud, Love, Darnold, Jaden Daniels, Burrow. I don't know. I think Goff, because some of the stuff he's doing, even in the system, is crazy. Like his accuracy this year is crazy. Like the completion percentage is nuts. And I know that's just one thing. And he's not necessarily doing anything crazy in the other categories, but I mean, I don't know. I would put him at 2. I'd put him at 2 right now. I think Lamar should be 1, but it's also all quarterbacks. Derrick Henry's having a hell of a year. Why is he not up there?
I agree. I think
And,
that
and yeah,
Adrian Peterson was like the last non-QB to win an MVP.
I'd put Henry above Goff. Dude, Henry should be up there somewhere.
if you
MVP's
think about it
phenomenal.
though, MVP is and probably always will be. I mean, it's been done before, someone other than quarterback, but a quarterback award. Who impacts a play more than a quarterback?
No, yeah.
So if I think maybe they should do like I might be speaking without much knowledge on this, but I think in the MLB they like excluded pitchers from winning MVP, and the pitchers win like their own award, right? Something like that. I don't know if y'all know,
I
but
wouldn't know.
maybe they do some shit like that for football because
Well,
it's
they
always
have
going to be a quarterback.
they have Offensive Player of the Year. So I
Yeah,
mean
yeah,
that's kind of like what they do.
Yeah.
yeah,
That
and
makes
that
sense.
will definitely be Derrick Henry, or at least right
Yeah, it's
now.
gotta be. It's gotta be. I wouldn't argue that. But let's see. Let me shift over to something I don't think you guys will argue with, which is my matchup of the week. Jordan, you haven't gotten yours in yet, or have you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with mine,
I think I did.
and I'm gonna
Yeah, I did.
I'm gonna give more love to Breesy. Actually, I'm gonna give more love to Breesy. And you know what's funny is he's gonna listen to this pod, and he's gonna be sitting there steaming, angry. Oh, he's trying to butter me up right now for a trade, giving me all this love on the pod. That's what he's gonna be thinking. Tuck, I have no plans for a trade with you. The only person I would want to trade with you, and you know this, is Brees Hall, and you shouldn't give him up to me for anything. So, I have
What
no
about for a kiss?
want for. Well, if you do it for a kiss, my lips are puckered. So, I have
Did
no
you guys
want to
ever
trade with you
hear?
unless you want to trade me Brees Hall. So I'm just
Did
giving
you
you
guys ever
love.
hear about that trade or like somebody on Reddit? he posted on like a fantasy football Reddit and said, "Hey, this guy wants to trade me CMC for like I think it was like Chris Godwin, but he also said he'd let me sleep with his wife. Should I do it?"
Hopefully you did it. Well, what's the wife look like?
Oh, we didn't get to see a picture of it. People were like, "Yo, does the wife know? As long as the wife."
Oh,
Does the wife know? Honestly, what he was getting Godwin and the wife for
Yeah, he's
CMC.
getting like something like that. So like around that caliber. This was last season.
Oh, dude! I was gonna say if it was this season, imagine that guy that that traded got CMC and had to watch his wife get fucked. And now CMC's out for how long?
that's hot. um, well,
Keep going.
uh,
My bad.
listen, you know what else is hot? Jordan doing our next segment as we move off of our matchups of the week. In our next segment, because I promised that we alternate, and I think that's fair. So it is a fun segment to do, especially because I think our league again kept it interesting. So
Yeah, they typically do.
if
So
you
we'll
are
take a look at
down
the offense
to knock
report.
out the next 2 segments, you can start us off with the offers report.
Well, I'll do the offers report. You could take over Pocket Watch.
Oh, I'm not good at that. Like you, maybe Matt. Maybe we can turn it over to the guest who's on. Well, let's decide in a second. Let's not ruin
all
the
right,
good
all right.
segment coming out here. Go
So
ahead.
looking at Thursday of last week, Follow Spike went ahead and added Hunter Henry, tight end for New England, for $5. Lights Camara Action Jackson added Christian Watson for $4. Dropped Quentin Johnson, and he was unsuccessful adding Romeo Dobbs. So this guy was just hungry for a Green Bay receiver, dude. Oh my gosh, he was feast. He wanted a Green Bay receiver so bad. And he
Yeah, he
picked
did.
up the one that scored 1.1 points. Good for him. I picked the right guy. That just proves that his vibe meter is off because Dobbs dropped 13.4 points, and the guy that he picked up dropped 1.1.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe
Dude, his vibes are off. His vibes are off.
his vibes are done. Curse of Raw picks up D Hop. He had to have had some inside knowledge. You
Jeez,
know
yeah.
that man. That man's just getting fed just rumors, everything else from AI. And he had that news before it dropped, so he's got D Hop on his squad. And the Breesy cover girl was unsuccessful because he only bid a mere 0. Got beat out by Raw. Lights Camara Action Jackson added a name familiar to you, Zamir White, for $2. Dropping Roshan Johnson. Living in Babylon made a grave mistake picking up the Saints defense and starting them and regretting it. The Dark Chungus picked up Demario Douglas for $0. Biting Kneecaps added Dallas Goddard for $0 and dropped Kirk. Aw.
Yeah.
And then I was unsuccessful adding Blake Groupie because my roster size would have been exceeded. So moving on to Friday, Trey Sermon was added by Follow Spike for $2. Dark Chungus added Kirk Cousins for $1 and dropped Bucks D. The EC, the Breesy, the Cover Girl added Waddle for nothing. Living in Babylon added Evan McPherson, Cincinnati kicker, and dropped Jackson Smith and Jigba. I forget what happened. Why did I not have him playing? Biting Kneecaps adds Sean Tucker for $0, dropping Raheem Mostert.
Before we move on, can we take a look at the name of that player I added?
Sean Tucker.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Hey,
You're damn right.
that's a good combo.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Saturday.
Tell me he doesn't look like me and Tuck. Mixed.
Let's go back. That was on Friday. Honestly, yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Matt,
Wow.
can you see a picture of Sean Tucker? Tell me he doesn't look like me and Tuck. Mixed.
Sean Tucker. All right.
Yeah, Bucks running
Yeah,
back.
he does. Wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Once I saw that, I had to get him.
It's uncanny. Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, see?
Yeah, it's crazy.
See? So.
Look at those DSLs. Oh my god.
Moving on to Saturday. The Dark Chungus added the Muth and let him loose for $2.
This has a sad ending.
Kingslayer. Somewhere along the line, I dropped Evan McPherson because Kingslayer picked him up and dropped Jake Moody. Follow Spike added Jackson Smith and Jigba. And then Kingslayer was unsuccessful adding Will Reichart, Jack Elliott, Jake
Here it
Bates,
comes.
Joshua Carty, Brandon McManus, Matt Gay, Anders Carlson, Jason Myers, Nick Folk, Tyler Bass, Eddie Pinheiro, Greg Zerline, Dustin Hopkins, Joey Sly, Daniel Carlton, Chad Ryland, Jason Sanders, Greg Joseph, Chris Nagar, Nathan Peterman, Grill Boy, and Matt Slater were all unsuccessful ads because a player involved had already been dropped.
Wow.
Moving on
goat
to
Nate
Sunday.
Peterman? Oh my god.
Yeah, he missed out on that.
Free agent quarterback Nathan Peterman. And then Grill Boy.
Free agent Grill Boy. Although Grill Boy was on a squad,
He's on a
I'm pretty
squad
sure.
now, yeah, because of the injury to Levis. They added
Yeah,
him
that's
to
right.
Tennessee. So I just have one question.
Yes.
Was Ted sober when this was done?
I would say no. If I had to guess, I would say no. Because that was a Friday night that he put all those claims in, presumably. So
Yeah,
I would say
I would say no. Matt, do you think he was sober?
Wait, so you tried to claim all those people? Absolutely not. That's
Okay.
like 29.
yeah, it was
Okay.
like 20
Yeah.
people.
Also, Jordan, I was doing the claps and I couldn't hear whoever came right before Nathan Peterman. I couldn't hear. Could you please say that person again? Because I didn't catch him.
Nathan, Chris Nagar.
Okay, gotcha.
I mean, how do you say that last name?
Oh no, I don't know. I just didn't hear who it was. I wanted to hear the complete list.
I don't want to attempt a few different pronunciations because now now I'm worried. How do you pronounce that name? Anyways, moving on to Sunday. Living in Babylon added Vil Reichardt for $0. Wednesday. It got pretty juicy on Wednesday. The captain, the doctor, Vava, added Jalen McMillan for $14. The same bid placed by the Kingslayer, but Va had a higher waiver priority, so sorry, Kingslayer. Lights Camara Action Jackson adds Alexander Madison for $11, dropping Zamir White and beating Captain Dr. Baba, who only placed $6 on him. And also beating Biting Kneecaps. What was the thought on that $0 bet? You thought you would get him for that?
Well, first of all, you know I can't do anything higher.
Oh, that's
So,
right. That's
so,
right. Oh.
so that's that's.
So
Go
okay.
ahead.
Well, moving down, the captain, the doctor, the Vava. He tried to add Sterling Shepard, but unsuccessful because he would have too many wide receivers on his squad.
Oh, what an idiot!
Yeah. So the
Oh.
Dark Chungus ends up sniping him for $1. Easy Breesy picks up Concussion Boy for $5 and dropped Justin Fields.
Overspend of the
Chungus
week.
adds. Really?
Tua for $5. No other bids. You put 0 on Tua. Overspend of the week.
Okay. The Chungus, not just any Chungus, the Dark Chungus. And what's he doing? He's rising by adding Chargers defense for $4, dropping the Jets defense. Good move. Curse of Raw was unsuccessful because he placed a $3 bid. He got beat. You'd think AI would prepare for things like that. Lights Camara Action Jackson. Get this. He dropped Christian Watson and picked up Romeo Dobbs. This guy wants a Green Bay receiver so bad.
So
And
bad.
Watch this week. It'll be a Christian Watson week.
Oh, I 100% agree.
Kingslayer picks up Ricky Pearsall, who gonna be walking out the tunnel to many men wish death upon me, because he did get shot in the offseason. He dropped Christian Kirk, and doesn't look like he beat anyone else out, but he decided to spend $3. He also spent $2 on Raheem Mostert, dropping Antonio Gibson. I picked up Tyler Lockett for $1, beat Follow Spike, who had no money bid. Well, what do you think? The reluctance to place, like, I don't know, $5, $3.
I don't know. I think he might think it rolls over.
Oh yeah. Well, the Kingslayer added Will Reichardt and dropped Evan McPherson. I added Keon Coleman for $1. No one else bid. Biting Kneecaps added Kate Otten for $0 and dropped Dallas Goddard. Why?
AJ Brown's back, and Kate Otten I think is going to be the actual person who gets the more targets from Baker.
Fair enough. Drake May was added for $0. Actually, no, he was unsuccessfully added because someone had already been dropped. Biting Kneecaps drops Isaiah Likely to pick up Cedric Tillman. Wow.
What was that thing
Like-
JB said about holding on to players because you spent value on them, but they actually fucking suck?
Yeah, it's like the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah, I'm not doing
Yeah.
that with Likely anymore. I waited too long.
Looks like how much you spent on him? That was.
I didn't spend
definitely
anything. Jordan did, but I traded for him.
I got
Oh.
Tony Pollard from him,
Damn.
which honestly Pollard's kind of trash, but
No, he's not good.
he'll sit on my bench.
Yeah.
All right, that concludes our offers report.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah,
So we had a conversation, you and I.
I don't remember ever talking to you.
No, we did. And and we were chatting about You actually came after me out of nowhere about it. Let me see if I can find where it is. You said
Can't listen.
no.
It
You
depends on what
came.
time of the day it was. Depends on what time of the day it was, whether or not it's justified.
You said. Let's see. Oh wow, you did it a few times. Who are you trading
Why
to
you
fill your
always?
injury gaps? And I said I'm going to waivers. I'm not trading anyone. And you said, well, we won't talk. I'll just mention the point because I don't want to. You're one that I won't like throw it all out, all the text out there. But I just want to throw out.
Dude, you love going to your text and exposing people, don't you?
Yeah. So you said you're just talking about. So you started. You tried to. So you said I was serious about the good luck. I hope you get who you want.
Yeah, I
Because
do.
you said no money in trying waivers. Good luck. Right before that, and then you said, Lockett will help you out for sure. And then you said, and the Keon Josh stack you're going for. And I didn't say I was going for a Keon Josh stack, but you said I was. That I was going for could be fruitful for you as well. And I
I don't
said,
know.
hold on. I said, you're trying to read me. That's hilarious. And you said, read you. I'm just trying to wish you luck. And then all this, and then you called me delusional. But then, I look at these waiver claims, and the dollar ads make me feel like you felt like only one person, and maybe a person who has no money, would go after these players. So it's just
Whoa,
weird
whoa, whoa, whoa.
that the two
No,
players you mentioned to me about adding, and I didn't even go for any of them, but you had $2
exactly. I was
ads
telling you.
for
I was
these
telling you
guys.
who I was adding.
Is that what
I
you
was
were
telling you
doing?
who I was adding. I mean, clearly, that's who I added.
Interesting. So I just had to ask because it just seemed weird when I saw that. It's like,
Bro, you just think you think everything's about you, don't you?
Well, at least I'm not. I mean, I'm not quite at Wardle's level where he thinks everyone's out to get him in the league. He texted me today
Oh,
saying that
I'm definitely out.
he does not trade with people because he's afraid everyone's out to get him.
I'm definitely out to get him.
I mean, I am too, so it is what it is.
Me too. So I mean, I guess
So now that's
I guess
three. That's three.
is
See, but that's not everybody.
No, it's not. No, it's definitely not. Well, hey, for the three that we do have here, Matt, are you interested in doing the Pocket Watch segment, or do you want to leave it to Jordan?
What do you
uh
mean? It's Matt or it's you, but brother.
I'm gonna be brutally honest. I turn off the pod after the matchups of the week. So can
That's
someone
smart.
else do it?
Wow.
That's
Okay.
smart.
All right. Listen, I'm just saying right now, this is my first time. I'm kind of nervous. Okay. I'll do it. All right. Pocket Watch segment. Wow, I am filling big shoes with tiny feet. You know what they say about tiny feet?
Oh yeah.
Tiny sauce.
Yeah, something like that. So starting out. Oh God, this is great. I'm all over the place. I don't know who's what. I'm about to black out. Now I see why you black out. Starting out our budget summary here for who's got what, who's a little broke boy, and who's the rich, wealthy.
Thank you.
How about follow Spike? We'll start with him at $83 because he's putting down $0 bids, and he's got far and away kind of the most money on the entire uh, in the entire league. So
And what should
$83
we
from
do to
him.
the rich?
I say we tax him. I say we
I was-
distribute that money to someone like me who I can't even place a bid because it's $1 bids. So
Yeah.
I think I should have some of that money.
Crazy out here. You
Um,
deserve it.
2XP weekend. Matt Ganthier, $78.
Double XP weekend. Have you never played Call of Duty?
I was a Halo guy.
No,
Sorry,
exactly.
Oh.
He doesn't play
I was
Call
a
of Duty.
Halo guy. So, and that's how I've been reading it in my head anytime I see your name too. So I hope that upsets you. But
Oh,
double
look.
XP weekend, I'll say it right for your sake. Matthew Ganthier, $78, doing pretty good, pretty healthy, steady. Then you've got the Kingslayer, slaying kings and taking their wealth because he's at $70, looking pretty okay.
He
After
should call
him,
himself Robin Hood. Right?
yeah,
He should.
he should change his
man.
name to Robin Hood because he's slaying kings and robbing and taking that money.
Redistributing the wealth. Yeah.
$70, plenty of wealth. Then you go down a little bit, and then you've got the Curse of Ra, cringy name, with $54, Cole Popa V. After Cole Popa V, it looks like the next highest would be right below him, or a couple spots below him, at not just a captain, not just a doctor, not just my lover, Vava,
Oh,
Varun Patel, with $37. Then you've got Lights, Camera, Action Jackson, who's clearly doesn't have a lot of money, and maybe his vibes were tied to his fab, because the less he has, the less vibes he seems to have as well in the league. Has $19, under 20. Everybody else is, I would say, broke boy category, under $20. So 19 for Wardle. The Dark Chungus Rises, JB, is next with $17. Then you've got, after that, Living in Babylon, Jay Dry, co-host, with a clean $5, a $5 bill, Abe Lincoln style. And after that, I have a friend
my
now.
favorite president.
I have a friend. Myself, Biting Kneecaps, and EC Breezy Cover Girl T Nug, we just can't stay away from each other this pod. We both have $0. We're both completely broke.
Wow.
And that's it.
Poverty franchises.
There you have it. How do you think I did that? Did I do okay?
Sorry,
That was
I'm
my
looking.
first one.
Yeah, no, I'm working on something. Hold on.
You did okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Just one clap is fine. All right. Well, look, Jordan, we're on to your next segment. Although I know you have feelings about this segment in general and what it is and its value. I know Ted actually made a decent suggestion, although I think it got ignored, about screenshotting each week so that we know to compare it from the week after. But
Yeah, I just want to know what the fuck he thinks this is. Like, I'm gonna do extra work.
yeah,
Come
and
on.
that extra screenshot and then having to compare and like say all the extra words is like we
Thank you.
try to, on this pod, we try to save time and save words. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. There's no ramp. There's no.
there's no room for anything like
No.
that. Yeah,
Exactly.
not a shot.
All right. So, looking at these power rankings compared to the first day of the day after the day of the draft, actually, this man needs a Snickers, Dark Chungus. You need it bad. This man, he's feasting on Snickers, double XP weekend. He's actually gone up 8 spots, and he's expected to finish first. Lights, Camara, Action, Jackson. Listen, we could sit here and talk about the bad vibes, but he's projected right now to finish second. The Curse of Ra. I mean, as much as we don't like it, he's projected third place finish. Easy Breezy, down from second place, but he's only sitting at fourth. He's climbing. There was a period of time where he needed the Snickers the most. Follow Spike sitting at fifth projected. In sixth place, Captain Dr. Vava. Seventh place, the Kingslayer. Eighth place, Biting Kneecaps. Okay, that's how that works. Biting Kneecaps down from seventh place. So, slight climb. There was a period of time where you were at 10.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah. Living in Babylon, he is projected to finish ninth. And as we mentioned, Dark Chungus needs some Snickers because he is expected 10th place finish.
Rough. Well, listen, Matt. What we've been doing lately, we've been talking about, as we move on to the next segment with my week transition, we've been talking about Shaqaronis. And actually, Jordan made this relevant in the group chat by sending a tweet from Shaq, or an X. Is it called an X now?
Yeah, we could call it an X.
Okay.
Or just a post
Just a
to
post.
X.
Okay.
I still call them tweets, honestly.
So I have it up in front of me. I'll read it. It says, Shaq, if I missed your call, I'm probably in a cabin, sitting by a warm fire, enjoying a giant box of pizza. Why? Because it's Shaq-a-roni season at Papa John's. So, when was this post from? Today?
Yeah, I saw that tweet.
Or was it
pretty
old?
recent. I think it's
Oh, no, I
today.
think it's from today.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is really good for our sponsorship, to be honest. Like for the league, that he's out here posting about Shaq-a-roni, and I think it's only a matter of time before he mentions the tearing me up segment. I think in one of his X posts, we're working on that.
It's coming together.
But Matt, if you're sitting in a cabin by a warm fire and you pull out a giant box of pizza and it's a Shaq-a-roni and you start munching on it, what obviously you know what's going to happen. It's going to start tearing you up. So, as it's tearing through your innards,
Oh boy.
what's something that you can relate to fantasy or regular football that's been tearing you up the same way?
Oh, it doesn't have to be purely fantasy related. It can
It could
be.
be, yeah, it could be whatever.
Yeah. Well,
This is
I'll
just
keep it
strictly time
fantasy
fan.
for the nature of the pod. Obviously two things. Obviously that loss to the Lions really tore me up inside there a bit rough there. I had a bad day the rest of the day. That was eating up my guts. But in terms of fantasy in these past couple weeks, man, really seeing Nico Collins being on IR, pretty tough. I mean, he was the number one ranked wide receiver, and then he goes down with a hammy injury, and then they decide to IR him, and clearly the Houston Texans are not the same without my boy Nico in there, and it pains me to see him on IR. I want to see my boy out there making plays for my squad. We need him. We miss him.
Hey,
Yeah,
that's
fair.
worthy of getting torn up.
I think that is worthy of getting torn up. I agree. Yeah, no one likes to see, and Jordan, I think it's true. I don't think anyone likes to see injuries happen. I mean, at the end of the day, even playing fantasy, and I know Wardle will hear me say that and cite times that I've supposedly rooted for players to be injured, but I think everyone kind of wants everyone's team at their peaks. I mean, no one wants players getting hurt in real life. Everyone just wants to play everyone's best. Injuries suck, so Nico's no exception.
Yeah, they do.
Nico's no exception to that. Jordan, do you have anything that's tearing you up?
Yes, and I need you to do me a favor. I need you to click on the standings tab at
Okay.
the top of your screen. And let me know when you're there.
I'm there.
Okay, do you see who's in 10th?
I do.
Okay. Does the audience see who's in 10th?
They should if they're actually looking at the screen.
Okay, now sort by. Let's go points 4 first. And remember who is in 10th.
Okay. Okay.
And you see where that individual is now. Now go ahead and click point against and sort by highest to lowest.
Okay.
And you see this. Let me know when it's up.
Points for, and then and then points against. Ah, yeah. It's
Okay.
up.
Now this is something that for weeks I've come on here, I've acknowledged, and I've said, yeah, fantasy's fantasy. What am I gonna do? I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna be pissed off that I am top 5, top half of the league in points for, and I'm gonna just call it 100 points because it's close enough for me. By 100 points, I am the most points against. I am getting fucked. I don't know what I did to Harambe. I feel like I've apologized a few times. My dick has been out multiple times, and I've acknowledged that for Harambe. This is some fucking bullshit. I have never experienced a season where I get fucked week in and week out, and my opponent goes crazy. It's infuriating. And I've
Yeah.
sat back and I've been like, fantasy's fantasy. But no, it's actually been pissing me off for weeks. And the league needs to know that it's been pissing me off for weeks. Because I'm sure there's some people out there that were thinking like, oh, there's no way he's really okay with that. Maybe no one was thinking about it. But I was sitting here, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna act like it doesn't bother me. And that couldn't be further from the truth. It is fucking pissing me off that I mean, you even look at this week. I think this week wasn't as bad, so I wasn't too upset. I was still upset that I lost, but still, I think I beat half of the teams in the league if I just have a different matchup.
Right.
And it's bullshit. It is fucking bullshit. It's been pissing me off since the start of the season. Since Lights Camara Action Jackson drops 160 to my 54, and
Yep.
then the next week, oh, I get to beat Va, yay! And then Chungus waxes me. And then double XP weekend, 174. And then follow spike, another 150 on me. So it's been frustrating to say the least. And that's what's tearing me up right now, is that I just can't catch a break. Hopefully, with my team being healthy, I can negate some of these just pop off weeks if they continue. Hopefully, they just don't affect me because my team scores good enough. But man, for weeks now, that chacaroni poop rock that usually blocks you up has just been sitting in there, and I haven't been saying anything about it. But I'm tired of holding on to it. I'm trying to push it out, and
You might have
yeah,
caused permanent damage by holding on to it this long.
I probably did. But I mean,
Irreversible damage.
I'm hoping that's not the case. But we'll see. We shall see.
Your schedule coming up is kind of brutal too. I'm showing it to the viewers.
What's the
Yeah.
schedule like? I can't see.
He wraps up the rest of the year. I'll just name them all: Ted, Brennan, Wardle, Tuck, Chungus, Matt, Va.
That is pretty. You know, it would be really cool if they had like a strength of schedule like thing here on the app. I would really like that. That'd be
That
cool.
would be cool. Yeah, based on how everyone's performing.
Yeah, I think that strength of schedule is points against.
Yeah, you mean like, yeah,
No, I guess that's not true because you could have a bad team that you play that just happens to do well. So yeah, strength of schedule would be interesting to see.
yeah, for sure.
But I wonder how they would calculate that record points for. I wonder how that would.
Probably record in points for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's what's not only tearing me up this week, it's been tearing me up multiple weeks.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I'd have to say something that's tearing me up inside. I think personally. Okay, here's what it is. And this kind of, it doesn't relate to Losh's question from the beginning to come full circle, but it has to do with trades. It tears me up because I'm a trade guy. Like I have been, and I've been a trade guy. You look back at my trades, and I've been a trade. I mean, last year I went trade nuts, but I've been a trade guy since before last year. You, Jordan, we've had some classic trades. Jamar Chase and Saquon. Remember that one a couple years ago?
Yep.
Or it was Jetta. I'm sorry, it was
Wait.
Jetta.
Yeah, it was Jetta.
And that same year, I had traded for Jamar Chase with Matt, both of you guys in 1 year. So like, some years they've worked out for me, some years they haven't. I trade. It's what I do through most seasons. Sometimes it bites me in the butt, and sometimes it doesn't. And so I send my fair share of trades. I like doing it. And
Is that why you just accepted a trade on the pod?
this on-air pod trade? That's actually not what's tearing me up, but there is a trade accepted live on the pod with a certain dark Chungus rises. And haters will say I planned this for my tearing me up, but I actually have something else to say for that. I did accept the trade. I need to fill my running backs. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all this trade is.
So what's tearing you up though?
Okay. So what's tearing me up is that people I will send trades and I completely get this if I'm sending a trade that that both parties know is a joke. Because sometimes I'll shoot a trade out and I guess it's just not well received and someone thinks that it's just a bad trade. Okay. But I'm talking about trades like when you send me an offer or if I send you an offer, like a ridiculous one, like a defense and a kicker and
Oh,
this for like a
like
starting
90% of the trades I send you.
Sure, yeah, like a joke one. I get if someone leaves a trade like that hanging. I also understand if someone's truly, truly insulted or disgusted by a trade, that they leave it hanging. Like if someone said that that's why they left the trades hanging, I could accept the argument. But it tears me up when I send a perfectly valid trade out to somebody that we've talked, it's not in the realm of being unreasonable. They might not agree to it, but it's like it's a trade. Like I send a real offer and they just leave it sitting. And not just because it happens to me, because like there's people around the league who they do it. And we all know they do it because I'm not the only person who does trade in the league. There are people who, and you can vouch for this if you feel you want to without naming names. There are people who just leave trades sitting.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's
it kind of
like,
bothers me.
and it's like, listen, if I'm sending you an actual trade, just either decline it. I do that for all my trades I get sent. I do that for the ones that are stupid that you send that are jokes. But like any trade that someone genuinely is sending me to see, even if I'm grossed out by it, where I'm like, that's like an insult to think I would even accept that trade. I'm still gonna decline it because it's a very simple thing to do. It lets the person know not interested, and they can start putting their mind elsewhere. Um, when you leave the trade sitting, it's like, well, can I go talk to other people? I don't want bad trade etiquette. Like genuinely, like I don't. If I'm trying to move a player, I don't want bad trade etiquette. Um,
Yeah.
like I don't want to go start talking to someone else, have them agree to a trade while the other trade is still sitting there. Like has the person seen it? Like maybe there, and I've been in this situation. Maybe there's games coming up that day. Like I can't like let you just if the trade's open for 24 hours. I can't just let it sit there. I need so then now I have to reach out to you, like, hey, did you see the trade? It's like just decline it or accept it. And when you see a trade, I would imagine 9 times out of 10, after about 5 minutes to sit on it at most, you know what you're gonna do or not gonna do after seeing it. So accept it or decline it. Just don't leave it sitting there. And there are people that will talk to me and say, hey, I don't like that trade you just sent, and then leave it still remaining sitting there. It's like, why do I have to be the person to go in and just revoke the trade? Just go in and decline it if it's a valid trade.
Yeah.
So
No, I would agree. It does, and it's probably going to happen more often now that it's been mentioned that it's annoying that
it'll
it
be
happens.
yeah. No, for sure, for sure. I know what I was
But
doing, but
I agree. Like, okay, if you don't actually want this player, it's not like you don't see the trade. You get the notification to your phone. If it's not something you're interested in, decline it so I can shop those players elsewhere.
yep, yep,
Yeah, I agree.
yeah. Matt, do you have thoughts?
About the trade etiquette.
Yeah,
I don't really trade, so it doesn't really
I'll send
affect
you
me.
something. I'll send you something, buddy.
but like I get it does well. So this is a classic deflect. Um, it doesn't affect you because you're not a big trader, but like you
Yeah.
can still have an opinion even though you don't partake in the situation. Like, is it
Yeah, but
bad?
if he hasn't experienced the situation that we're speaking about because he doesn't trade, how can he have an opinion on it?
Exactly. I would just be. Oh, that
What is
was.
Ted's opinion on it?
Oh,
I
it's
heard somebody say my name.
Oh,
Yeah, what's your opinion on people not accepting trades
This
and
is
just let them
epic.
sit in their inbox?
It's disgusting. I just looked in our little chat, and we have a trade that I never accept where I receive Marvin Harrison and you receive Chris Olave. Not really sure how that works, but
I don't know how that works, but hey, that's
I
how
think
it
it
has
was your off-season nonsense.
to be. Probably.
All right, I'm out of here. I thought when y'all said my name, I thought I heard it.
Well, I saw you laughing. I saw you laughing at the trade that just got done between me and JB.
Yeah, that shit was comical. Okay, what? I'm not allowed to laugh in the
No,
in the chat
I
anymore.
appreciate the laugh. I appreciate the comedy. At my team's poorest state. Yeah.
You're just dawdling.
I just
You're just dawdling little kids.
listen.
That's okay.
I might just get hit with the Rico. Okay.
You just get hit with a Rico.
We'll see what happens.
Oh.
We'll see what happens.
Name
Alright.
change incoming.
Name change incoming. Yes, sir. All right. Well, Ted's here to wrap the pod up with us. So, are there any final words from our guest? Ted, you got any final words for the league?
Listen, I just wanted to say, thank God. Okay, my bowel movements lately have been like really great for like a long time now. And I'm so happy the Shakaroni is here to fuck that shit back up. I'm ready to start
Thank
shitting
you.
solid boulders and destroy my entire system. So thank God for Shaq.
Oh, dude, just wait till you hear the rerun of this pod. I finally got a boulder out of my system.
Did.
I literally can't wait. That's like what I listen for. I like skip forward a bit. I listen for updates on the Tumblr and
Tumblr
if we
skip.
got boulder shits.
I'm glad you brought it up, sir. No one asked me about the Tumblr, so I just assumed no one wanted to hear about it. It's good. It's in my cabinet.
That shit's inclusive as hell. Like, what more could you ask for?
Dude, thank you. Thank you for bringing it up because it means a lot to me.
Wow. That was beautiful. That was well said. Matt, do you have anything to? I know it's hard to follow, but do you have anything to? Last words to the league since before the next time you're on.
Oh man, a lot of pressure. You know what? Just I hope I make the playoffs. I hope I win my game this week. Move on to was it 6-2? I hope Loesch loses so we can move on to 5-3. And I want to take home that trophy, baby. I have the losers trophy still here. I need to send that over to Loesch. It doesn't need to be on my house anymore. So, Loesch, if you could drop your address so I can mail it to you. I'm sick of having the deucing here.
Hey, that's a great point. Why are you still holding on to that motherfucker needs to give his info.
Hold on. Have you reached
Yeah.
out about the address and not gotten a reply?
No, I haven't reached out. This is my
Okay.
first time reaching out,
Okay.
to be fair.
Okay.
We can dox Loesch on YouTube.
I'd be fine with that.
You also can't tell me that might not change the juju of his squad once you get that over
Oh,
there.
dude, the fact that he doesn't. Well, hold on. Let's think about the juju that Matt could have if he got the deucing out of his possession.
That's very true too.
That'd be like Smith Schuster level juju.
That's
Oh my
where is it?
gosh.
Where is it? I can't let it go. All right. Wow. All right. Well, fair.
I mean, dude, until he gets that in his possession, he might win the league. Wait, is that why he's getting so much like luck in the league? Is because he doesn't even have the deucing yet?
that's
I don't know how
that's
that
what we're
works.
thinking.
Huh.
He doesn't have that bad Smith Schuster with him.
Yeah, I feel like I'm like the guardian of some evil ancient artifact.
Right now, you are.
Society will collapse, and eventually, what they'll find is that piece of wood.
Usually, the only evil artifacts in our league is just like all the Nazi memorabilia Drizzy has in his trophy case.
Oh shit.
There's none.
Ted,
Really,
I
huh?
gotta ask you this because we slight you a lot on this pod for this one very topic. But I was gonna mention to you that
What the hell?
we had a lot of we have a lot of in this pod when you go back and listen, a lot of non-fantasy football talk, a lot of just football
I don't
talk.
think we do.
I don't mind the non-fantasy talk. No, that is not what I complained about at all. I complained when y'all are. I complained about something way different. When it was talking, once I understood like the Tumblr and everything, it all clicked for me.
Okay,
it's like-
it was the Tumblr.
What's the
No, I
Tumblr
was
came into
bitching about when
discussion?
you would just like start doing NFL takes. Like, if I wanted just normal NFL takes, I'd listen to smart people like Skip Bayless, you know. But
That's fair.
yeah,
fair.
yeah. I understand. Mad Dog, maybe even.
Hold on, we're not. He said smart, not genius.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Listen, I get all my information from Shannon Sharp.
This is
All
scam.
of it, all of it, even like what noises to make while you're.
There's some good training
Yeah,
videos from
exactly.
Shane.
Shannon, keep it real.
see,
Oh, well.
puppy.
Jordan, any final words to the league?
Yes, all things for Harambe. Hopefully, no more injuries. And just a word to my co-host. Let's try to keep these pods maybe under 2 hours, if possible, next time.
Right now we're at
And
2 hours and 30 seconds.
yeah,
So yeah, you're right.
just in the future, let's just be cognizant of time. But
Okay.
but yeah, all glory to Harambe. I really do hope no one else has any more injuries.
I mean, we did have like a 3-guest special.
That's
No, this
true.
was
That
this
is-
was
this is
yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good point, Matt. Thank
This
you.
You
was
know,
good.
that sentiment is like that's like the most evil shit Loesch is. You know, like Loesch is like cheering for injuries and shit. He's like a bastard. Like
Oh,
when
it
I
definitely is.
when
Yeah,
I was
no,
playing him,
100%.
he was definitely hyped up when like my players were getting injured mid game. He's like a piece of shit. He's like hoping for it. That's what the little curse of Amon Ra is or whatever. Is him cursing other teams to get injured and shit. I think.
He doesn't even have Almond Raw.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
it's
Yeah,
cringy. Yeah, it's cringy.
We were talking about that. What is the purpose of his name? Do you have any idea?
No, it's just him saying like, "Ooh, the fact that he keeps winning even though like his team is dog shit." Like his team has like such a low point scored, but he like still is like at the top of the league. He's saying it's
Yeah.
like, "Ooh, every week I sneak by, it's the curse."
Oh, so he just okay. It's something people have to look up.
Of course.
I don't know what the fuck. I thought the curse of Ra was like when you accidentally go into a Mon Ra, or like you accidentally go into a Young Ho Ra.
when
or
you
something.
only go in Young Ho's Raw or
Or
something.
no,
like
what was he? I don't remember what the horny ass name was, but
Those are some goaded
So,
names.
I'm
Okay?
I'm on Young Ho Ra. Right? That's how you
No, I
pronounce
think it was like I only go in Young Ho's Raw or something like that.
it was
It was what?
What was it, Matt?
Oh god, what was it? It's like I raw dog young hoes or something like that.
Yeah, it was. Hey, it was creative. I'll give you that.
it's really good. I mean, it's really good. Wasn't it like I only raw dog the fraudulent lions or something?
I don't
There
think it
were
was that. I
there
don't
were a
remember that
few.
one.
I had
No, I
lines
think
of frauds, golf overpaid. That was one of them when they lost to the Bucks.
Goff might be overpaid.
He is. He is
No,
overpaid.
he's not.
You could
Nope.
put any quarterback in that system, they do well.
Anyway, so hey, listen, we are at the end. So
This
of
is the NFL
course,
talk I can go for.
of course, listen, it's always for Harambe. Dick's out for Harambe. Harambe for president. Rest in peace, Harambe. And gentlemen, we are